All right, y'all. So Arena Store changes are officially live in the store. And my overall takeaway with the changes are they're okay. They're kind of meh, at best as far as I'm concerned. And there are a few things that I like, very few, but let's talk about that, right? Let's do some positive, reinforcement. Let's talk about that first. So I do like that there have been some changes that I think will benefit some of the newer players that are in the game. So they mentioned that they're going to be moving some of these much older characters, right? To being only a cost of 350 arena credits in the store. As you can see, they definitely have done that. There are some characters that I think are actually valuable characters that are actually been reduced to at a 350 cost. Juggernaut, regardless if you believe it or not, I still think that the BH 2.0 team is definitely one of the better teams to use for your war attacks. Early enough for earlier plays, you can also use them as an arena option. You can also find some use for them in Greek raid. So I do think that Juggernaut holds some value there. Juggernaut is a character that you can use to unlock Magneto. Mordo is here. You can use Mordo to unlock Phoenix. Mordo is also a very good character that you can use for early Mystic campaigns. The rest of these characters not so great. Quake, obviously, you can use to unlock, Ebony Maw, later on. And I think Daredevil also has a little bit more value now because you can use him on the Shadowland team. Shadowland is extremely good, as a war offense team. And who knows, you might find some later viability for the Shadowland team as well. So there are definitely some things that I think, will help out, some beginner players here. When you kind of scroll up, I'm a little puzzled on some of the changes that they did not make. Heimdall is a older character, in my opinion, not much older, but he's an older character that I think you could have reduced, some of the credits for 350 credits for Heimdall. I think would have been, ain't nobody, it would have been okay, if you had done that. Hela is still hard to get because she's in villain 760. You can't get her anyways until you at least get to level 70. So I think if they had reduced the pricing on, Heimdall, that would have been fine, in my personal opinion. Human Torch also, why is Human Torch at 500? You could have reduced that. Also, I would consider Vulture to be a much older character also that you could have also reduced to 350. You could use them to unlock Invisible Wind, and you can also use them to unlock Shuri. Now these other characters, I get it. Crystal's fairly new, Blob is fairly new, Chorus definitely new to the store. Swarm, although is once again the Sinister Six characters, he is also fairly new, so therefore I'm actually okay with Swarm being here. A few other things that or let's talk about the things that I don't necessarily like. I don't like the training module pricing on this. I think that this is way overpriced in my opinion. 500 arena credits, for L3 training modules. I just don't value it to be, I don't value it that much to spend, 500 arena credits on it. I'll rather buy and spend it on, these other characters to, grant some extra shards. And I definitely don't think that this was originally supposed to be 1250. They reduced this down to 975. I don't necessarily think that makes it all that much better. I still think that, 975 is still overpriced. Now I get what they're trying to do, right? They're trying to get you to use your arena credits, and they're trying to find some way that that would incentivize you to do this. But I just don't think that Red Guardian is the character. I don't think that he's that impactful. Yes, very important, for Doom raids. He's actually one of the better, tanks in the game, protectors in the game. Auto taunt, ability is good, but I don't know. Red Guardian, pass. I just don't think that he's worth 975 credits. Now, if they were trying to get you to spend your arena credits, there's a lot of characters that are backlogged, right? That they could have thrown into the store, and that would have added some value to, farm. You could have kept them at 500 and added in characters like Anti-Venom, or, now that the Dabros are available, you could have added characters like, the Dabros into the store. Granted, maybe that's probably too wishful thinking, or maybe that's too cheap of a price or too much ease in terms of being able to farm them, but you're still adding a lot of characters in the store that I think would add a lot of value, in my opinion, to, or at least force players to make decisions on who to actually buy, in the store and use those credits for. So me personally, that is overpriced. The L3 training modules, I think, is also overpriced. If these were L4 training modules, then I would say, all right, cool, yo. Now what you're talking, you know what I'm saying? If this was L4 training modules, then I would have a little bit of a better feel about it. Now let's talk, when we're talking about L4 training modules, now let's go to the orb. So this is the arena orb. 800 credits is what we're having to spend now for the arena orb. And in my opinion, they have devalued the arena orb, quite a bit. Now I will say, once again, let's start with some positive criticism on the orb, right? Or positive things to say. I think the fact that there are no minions in this orb is good, because one of the things I would hate is to spend 800 arena store credits on a character in the store and then drop a character like Armor Guard, Hydra Armor Guard. I get it, useful character, but no, I don't want it. So, I do like that they actually remove some of those characters. I also do appreciate that they at least do have Red Guardian in the store, so that he's actually, if you pull an orb, you can actually grab him. You can actually get some shards, for Red Guardian. I will like to make an observation though, as you can see, as we quickly scroll through here, Swarm is not in this orb, and I don't know why. I feel like that was a mistake. I don't think that was intentional. I have already mentioned it already, to the powers that be, I guess, if you want to call them that, that Swarm is not listed as a drop rate in the store. So that, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know why that is, but that's the case. Now, the other stuff that you're getting from here, you're getting, 4% on the left side, 4% chance for you to grab, elite credit, 4% chance, on the left side, whatever. You can take that. I don't think it's that great, but if you get it, it's cool. 10 T3s. Give me some T4s or something like that, or at least give some other opportunities to grab some other things. They have completely removed orange gear out of here, which I think is kind of devalued just the orbit in my opinion, just for later game players. I just don't see the incentive other than potentially being able to drop scream shards, which you're also getting from the middle, at a 10% drop rate. You could at 10% in the middle at a 10% drop rate, you could get scream shards, or you could get, you could get 7 shards, or you could get 10 shards. Cool. Lucky if you get it. It's a 10% drop rate, but it's kind of similar to some of the other orbs too, right? Like the domino, like the Blitz orb, that's kind of, how they kind of structured that. So I guess I can't be, too mad at that. Probably most likely you're going to get a decent drop rate of Scream, which I think overall can kind of bode well for you. Scream is a very important character. If you have Symbiote Spider-Man, there's a lot of value there for new players. You may want to you probably are wondering whether or not you should open up orbs. I personally, as a beginner player, I personally think that you shouldn't. I think that the better direction for you to go in would be to actually, initially, I would actually say this. Initially, you're probably not going to be able to get enough credits to target farm characters on a consistent basis. So initially you probably want to go open up orbs, but as you start to get an even flow, of credits, you're probably going to want to go with those 350s. But there are some things that are there for beginner players that I think will be helpful, or earlier players that I think will be helpful. Obviously getting, character shards, but I do think that the purple gear that's in there will also be helpful too for you. There is, let me stop clicking on the centerpieces, but there's some orange gear, there's some T3, L3 ability, some L3 training modules that are in here. They've completely removed the L4 training modules, which once again, this is not very incentivized, for players to get this orb. We're going from a 675 price to a 800, pricing, with the arena credits to open up this orb. I just don't think that there is any real incentive for later players to be able to open up this orb. And I'll be very honest with you, I'm not even sure that at the price that this is increased to, whether or not beginner or earlier players should even be going after this either. Your best bet is going to be to target farm characters in the store. That's where you're going to find the most value out of using your arena credits. Otherwise, you're just going to be kind of throwing away your arena credits to get very minimal things that are going to help you later on, sure, but not really going to help you in the short term when you actually need those things. So just a quick evaluation, or I guess my summary on this here is that the arena orb, the changes are very meh, in my opinion. Red Guardian, not as impactful. There definitely should not have reduced the orange gear. There's a lot of orange gear that was in this orb. A lot of it now is just all advanced gear, which helps out earlier players. But this orb, this orb is not even beneficial to earlier players either, because you have to spend too much credits that would be better off for you to target farm characters. So why reduce the kind of gear that you can get in this orb and not keep it the same, so that if you're trying to incentivize later players to actually open up these orbs, that they actually will find a little bit more value by spending these 800 credits. Because right now, I'll be honest with you, I don't find any value in this orb at all. I don't know exactly I haven't figured out a plan yet for what I'm going to do with my arena credits. Am I going to spend them on, opening orbs? Am I going to target farm characters? I can tell you this right now. I don't really feel like spending $9.75 on Red Guardian. So I'm going to have to evaluate it and see what's going to be the best bang for my buck. I'm probably going to end up grabbing, the orbs, because maybe I could potentially get some elite credits. I don't know, man. This is not necessarily a change that I think that they needed to make. I think that they should have gone into the store, added more characters, incentivized players that way to use their arena credits so that they could actually farm characters. There's a lot of late game players who have a bunch of credits because there's no characters in the store for them to farm. So if you're looking for them to spend more, add more value to the store by adding more characters that would actually benefit them and actually incentivize them to actually use their credits. Well, I don't know. I'm babbling on. I'm done. We'll probably reevaluate this again over the next couple of days, and curious to know what your guys' thoughts are. What do you think about the orb? Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I'm there's some silver liners, some good in this that maybe I didn't find. I just personally don't think that I see it right now, and I don't know. These are the changes that we don't ask for. They don't make the changes that would actually make the game better. They tend to make changes that ultimately don't, really satisfy the needs that we want. I get it. You got to make money. You're a business. You got to make money. But at the same time, you need players to be satisfied in your game so that they will continue to spend money in your game. That's the way that I view it. But appreciate you guys watching. Let me know what your thoughts are. Y'all be blessed and y'all be safe.